So let's just continue with lecture number 2 today. We made sure that we covered on this thing with 3 different methods, right? So we found out with different examples the remainder, the and the dividends divisor, right? So let's just take another example question. Let's just say that we have 4x squared minus 3x squared, or let's say 4x to the power 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12. This is your normal dividend, and your divisor is x minus 2. Now again, let's just start off with long division method so that we understand this well. Long division. And we already know that your divisor is x minus 2, which is one of the factors. Then we have 4x to the power 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12. Let's say that we already know that x minus 2 is there. What will we multiply x minus 2 that we end up getting 4x to the power 4, which is 4x cube. So 4x cube multiplied by x will give me 4x to the power 4, and 4x cube minus 2 will give me 8x cube. So the first value that we will have is 4x cube, right? Now this 4x cube will be the quotient, start of the quotient, whereas where you'll be writing 4x to the power 4 minus 8x cube. Now we already know that the signs, if this is plus, this will be negative. If this is negative, we'll change this to plus so that these two things are cancelled out. And what you're left with is, because we already know that we have minus 8x cube, right? Or plus 8x cube. So we write down 8x cube minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12. Obviously, this cannot be solved. We'll be writing down because of the separate powers. Now, knowing the fact that we already have x minus 2 as factor, right? So, let's say x minus 2 again. Now, what will we multiply this x minus 2 that we will have 8x cube, which will be 8x square. When 8x square multiplied by x will give me 8x cube, and this will give me what? 16x square. So the quotient here will be plus 8x square, and we will write down 8x cube minus 16x square. And when we will solve this thing, plus will become negative, negative will become plus, the signs will change, this will be cancelled out, and 16 and 3, this can be solved, this will give me what? 13x square plus 8x minus 12. So moving further again, we know that we have x minus 2 as factor. What will we multiply x minus 2 that we should be getting? What? 13x squared. This should be 13x. 13x squared minus what? 26x, right? So we'll be getting this through plus 13x and we'll get what? 13x squared minus 26x. So plus will become negative, negative will become positive. This will be cancelled out. And what we'll be left with is 8x and 26x, both plus. So this should give me 34x minus 12. Now back again, x minus 2. What we will multiply this will is 34. So this should be 34x minus 34. This should be given 68. So 34 will become the factor, a quotient again, right? So we write down as what? Plus 34. And here we'll have 34x minus 68, which in case we'll have change in signs, negative. This will become what? Positive. We cancel this thing out. Negative 12, positive 68 will give me what? 56 in total. So this will be what? Remainder. This will be quotient. This is your divisor. And this is your dividend. So these will be the four things that will be required in any particular question that is there if you need to find out the quotient. Let's continue with the same question. And now, to further understand, let's just find out the remainder directly. We already know that, let's say that fx, considering that 4x to the power 4, or we could use p as well for polynomial, right? 8x minus 12. We already know that x minus 2 was the divisor, and we need to find remainder. Now, for remainder, you already know that there's no missing value in your polynomial. There's no missing value in this particular question. So what you're going to do is, you're going to make it easy for you, as your normal factor is x minus 2 can be equated with 0. So x becomes 2. So if we just have to replace, substituted 2 to the power 4 minus 3, 2 square plus 8 to minus 12. So F2 will directly give me what? 4, 16 minus 3, 4 plus 16 minus 12. This will be 64 minus 12 plus 4, right? So you will end up having 56 as remainder, right? Directly. So you don't need to go with the long division method. You can directly solve this thing as the value. Similarly, as we understood the question, we could directly use the comparison method as well. Let's say that, let's use P now. This is 4x to the power 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12. Let's say your divisor is again the same, that is x minus 2. What you need to find out is the quotient and remainder, right? So the formula, right? The formula states that your dividend is equal to, what does the normal formula say? Your divisor multiplied by quotient plus remainder. This becomes your normal value. Now we already know that the dividend is 4x to the power 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12. You already know your divisor is x minus 2. But if you just notice that, you know that the maximum power here is x to the power 4. And the minimum power that you have is x. So what are you left with? Is x cube, x square, x, and the normal coefficient. So when you start off with your normal, you start off with ax cube, then bx square, then cx, then d. Right? So if we just say we'll start off with ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d plus the remainder. Now this will help us to actually solve through what? Comparing method. So this is 4x to the power 4 minus 3x squared plus 8x minus 12, which will be, if we just open this thing down, ax to the power 4, bx cube, cx square, and dx. Whereas minus 2ax cube plus 2bx square minus 2cx minus 2d plus what? R. Now, this will be your normal comparing form, whereas now we'll be comparing the coefficients. For comparing the coefficient, you should agree to one thing, that you know that x to the power 4 is there. So 4x to the power 4 is equal to ax to the power 4. So a becomes what? 4. Similarly, if we just say you want to compare x cube, so we do not have any value of x cube, so there should be 0x cube will be compared to what? Bx cube minus 2ax cube, which means 0 will be b minus 2a, whereas this should be what? 4, b minus 2, 4. So b will value becomes what? 8. So when we compare what? X square, this should be minus 3x square is equal to cx square minus 2bx square. Minus 3x square is equal to c minus 2b, right? If you take x square as common, x square goes, minus 3c minus 2b was what? 8. So c becomes what? 13. We can also compare what? We can compare x as well. Let's say if you want to compare x, there should be 8x is equal to dx minus 2cx, right? So 8 is equal to d minus 2c. 8 is equal to d minus 2, 13. So d becomes what? 34. And then of normal constant, minus 12 is equal to minus 2d plus r. So minus 12 is equal to minus 2, 34 plus r minus 12, 68 minus plus 68 is equal to r. R becomes what? 56. So in the end, what we noticed was with the same type, it's a longer method, but we'll end up having what? Quotient as, the quotient will be 4x cube plus 8x square plus 13x plus 34. This will be your quotient, and your remainder is again 56 for the given particular quotient. So here's another question considering 4x cube minus 4x square plus 3x plus 3. Let's just say that we have 4x cube minus 4x square plus 3x plus 3, and the divisor 2x square minus 3x plus 3. So when we multiply this with 2x, we end up having what? 4x cube minus 6x square plus 6x. We change the signs. Plus becomes minus, minus becomes plus, plus becomes minus. This thing cancels out. And what we are left with is 2x again square plus what? 3x minus 3x plus 3. Right? So be careful about the signs. Then again, we multiply this with what? Plus 1. 2x square minus 3x plus 3. So what we'll end up having is plus become minus, minus become plus, this become minus, so remainder is 0. So when the remainder is 0, since remainder is equal to what, 0, that means 2x square minus 3x plus 3 is a factor, right? That means this thing can normally be divided so that we'll end up having the remainder as what? 0. It's similar to this, that let's say that we have 4 and we have 4. So 4 ones are automatically is what, 4, right? So when we have 4 ones are is 4, the remainder becomes what? 0. Or we have 4 and we have 8. 2s are 8. Remainder becomes what? So obviously 2 becomes the normal factor as well. So when we have factor, that means your dividend is what? Dividend is basically divisor multiplied by quotient. There is no remainder. There is no remainder in this. Similarly, if we just want to continue using this as the comparing method, right? So your normal px, this should be, if this is 2x square minus 3x plus 3, and the question is about 4x cube, right? And we already know that this is 2x cube. So this should be ax plus b. So you'll be comparing this with what, ax plus b only. So that means 4x square, 4x cube minus 4x square plus 3x plus 3. This thing will be compared to what, 2x square minus 3x plus 3 and ax plus b. And since this square is there and we needed cube, we started off with what, x. So in the end, you will have what, quotient directly, since there is no remainder, and the quotient will be what, 2x plus 1 again.